Well, now he will be discussing the change agenda, and that's Charles Ajiboye, who is the chairman of Young Lawyers Forum Ikeja, and that's actually of the MBA. Thank you for coming on this morning.
It's my pleasure.
Well, I mean, one wonders, the young lawyers, do they actually play, or what kind of influence do they exert in the MBA, for instance, say, when you want to have elections?
Okay. Now, the beauty of the Young Lawyers Forum itself is the fact that the Nigerian Bar Association has identified the need to empower young lawyers. Law is such a profession that has a lot of preference for seniority. The possibility that every young lawyer will be swallowed in that crowd of senior lawyers is so high.
And they swallowed already, because people don't get to hear you young lawyers a lot.
Exactly, you're very right.
Policy statements, they don't hear it.
That's why the Young Lawyers Forum was now established, so that young lawyers can come together, they can have a voice, they can move as one. In fact, the last national MBA election was basically moved. And I would say the man that won, A.B. Mahmood, the national president of MBA, won because he understood the importance of the Young Lawyers Forum, the importance of the young lawyers of the Nigerian Bar Association. His campaign was basically electronic based. It was on LinkedIn, it was on all the social media platforms, and that was one of the major reasons why he won.
What do you think of the change? The change begins with me mantra.
I like it.
What
so
aspect?
If you ask me what I like about it, I would say I like the fact that it represents greatness. It represents the essence of humanity. I'm not looking at it from the angle of APC or PDP or the fact that people voted for change. I'm looking at it from the angle that if someone tells you change begins from you, the person is simply telling you take responsibility. The person is simply telling you that you cannot look up to government. You cannot be pointing fingers at the next person for something you are not supposed to expect anything for.
But you know that meanings are not just in words, meanings are in people.
Yes.
So if they think, nope, that's not the message I get from that, how do they then interpret it as taking responsibility?
Understandably, people have been carried away with the fact that APC came with APC change. So change to what? Is it change from PDP to APC or change from what to what? We were not clear about that in the beginning. Maybe for the first time, APC is beginning to be clearer about what their change mantra was all about. And whilst it may be political, I still agree with the fact that it's a personal thing. There's nothing the government can do, there's nothing anybody can do if the individual Nigerian does not change. No matter what policies the federal government, state government tries to implement, if the individual Nigeria does not change in its mentality, does not change in his approach to business, does not change in his relation to people. Now, it sounds like I'm already campaigning.
The good thing is you're also a startup coach. You
Yes.
speak to young people, and if anyone comes to you as a hopeless Nigerian, young Nigerian, telling you that a whole lot hasn't gone the way they would have loved to see with this government, and you tell that Nigerian that change begins with you, he asks you, I'm already a hopeless man in a hopeless situation. So how can you better explain this, that you're trying to put that this is a responsibility within the individual to take charge?
When any economy, when any nation is at the kind of position where Nigeria is now, it is the greatest opportunity, the best time for entrepreneurs to grow. It is the best time for people to shine. Now, one of the things that startup person you speak of should note and know is that change must start from the mindset he carries or she carries. If he thinks he is hopeless, then he's hopeless. If he thinks he's endangered, then he's endangered. The ability to identify opportunities where it seemingly is scarce, where everybody's looking away, that exactly is the strength of an entrepreneur. That is the strength of the startup. Now, the startup who doesn't see this situation, this scenario that Nigeria is presently playing out as an opportunity, is already limiting he or himself to certain quotas. And until he can change that mindset, he may not be able to access the opportunities that are available.
But you have also heard, okay, maybe you haven't, but there are people who have been here and they say, wait a minute, they think, okay, pardon me, let me get Mark in on this one so I don't take this on a long tangent. Mark,
Thank you, Chamberlain. Hello, Charles.
Hi, Mark.
You know, you're talking about the change mantra this morning, and one of the things that people talk about is a moral standing. People say that, you know, yes, the message, there might be nothing wrong with the message, but that this message shouldn't come from government, that they are yet to see anything in government that would inspire them to also change in their personal lives, or that has even changed the life of government, as it were. Do you think that they're right on this one?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I like something that the Minister of Information said, Lai Mohammed, when he was introducing the change begins with me. At the end of the speech, he said, I'm Lai Mohammed and change begins with me. Now, I don't see change begins with me as something for Nigerians. It's for the government. My name is Muhammad Buhari, change begins with me. My name is Akinwumi Ambode, change begins with me.
But the message they say was meant for us.
No. It's for everybody. They are Nigerians, and if anyone should carry and practice that message, it starts from the government. So when Malpa said, do they have the moral standing? I said no. But should they implement this agenda? Should they implement this slogan, this mantra that they are pushing? Yes, it should start with them. And I'm glad that there was a committee that was practically set up nearly immediately to reduce the presidential fleet and all of those things. And I think what we should be doing is to say, if you say change begins with me, let's now begin to hold them. You said change in the beginning, fine. You are now beginning to identify your change and streamline it and focus it. So let's hold them to it. My name is Buhari. Change begins with you.
Yeah, so
what are you changing?
Can the average person then internalize the message, especially when they say, look, I didn't promise anybody change in the first instance, so change cannot begin with me. Let it begin with you who promised to change in the first place.
No, that would not be responsible. If you voted for change, if you wanted change, it meant that you also had a role to play for that change to be seen. The fact that all of us have been expecting change, demanding for change, and unwilling to change ourselves is the reason why we probably are not seeing the kind of result that we expected when we made that when we went to the polls. So if Nigerians, if me and you will see the change we wanted when we went to the polls, if we will see the change we want in the country that we have in our dreams.
So is this a political message, or is this supposed to be a national orientation message?
It's a national reorientation message, as we are told. It's been given political.
But what do you see?
I think it's a national reorientation message. I think we should take it as a mindset, the mindset that Nigerians and Nigeria should have going forward. I think there is a lot of positive in it.
But you know, the first interpretation people give to this is it's political.
Yeah.
It draws that political line.
Yes.
So it first and foremost defeats that national reorientation criteria.
In the instance, yes. But like Malcolm said, if they can begin to exhibit the fact that they are walking or walking the talk, then people will begin to believe it.
The theme here is about the change that the people will want to show, absolutely, and they want to ask the people, if you say this is something that has to start with me, for instance, Lai Mohammed and the presidency, what are those things that you would love to see them do at the end of the day?
Two things from their part. Cut the waste, then cut the flamboyance. Cut the waste is evident in the fleet of cars that they parade, in the private jets that they use, in the allocations to their offices. Cut the exuberance is evident in how much goes into organizing state events, presidential banquets, hosting people that may not necessarily mean much to our economy. If they cut the waste, if they cut the flamboyance, I'm sure people will begin to see a bit of empathy in the lives of these leaders. Then I will speak from another angle, especially because I'm an advocate of youths and startups. Then the second thing they need to do for us to see this change begins with me is to begin to empower young people. Now, not talking about young people as to jobs alone. Empower them by including them in government, in governance, and in leadership. It's okay for the Constitution to say you can be a governor if you're 35. If you are going to be a governor at 35, it presupposes that you should have learned a bit of leadership before then. How do you do that if you were not a commissioner at 30?
So, Ajiboye, have you started saying that with this government?
I've not started saying that. I'm hoping that with the new change begins with me, I will see more young people, 23, 24, as special advisors to the governor, 25, special advisor to the president, 30, 28, commissioner in states.
And that's not an elective position.
They are not elected positions. So they can use that to build their track record, to build their reputation, to learn on the job. And then at 35, as the Constitution says, they'll be qualified to contest.
The young people you've spoken to, I mean, how does this message, change begins with me, resonate with them?
Now, they are taking it in the same way the regular person is taking it. It looks like the government is passing buck. It looks like the government is saying, you were demanding change from us. No, you change first. So everybody's passing it. You know, the people are passing it to the government, government is passing it to the youth, or passing it to the people. But if every one of us can take responsibility of our lives, of our businesses, I maintain the fact that Nigeria will be better. But then, of course, I agree on the fact that the leaders and the people who are promoting this change agenda should begin to show that they believe in exactly the things they are saying.
All right, and Charles Ajiboye is the chairman of Young Lawyers Forum of that's the Ikeja version, and is actually of the MBA. I had to ask that. Thank you for coming on this morning.
My pleasure, Tony.
Well, there you go. That's where we draw the curtains today on the program, this holiday, as a matter of fact. And we thank you for letting us be a part of your day today. We will see you tomorrow. I'm Chamberlain Uso.
Many thanks. I'm Sulaiman Alede.
Thank you, Maokwe Ogun. I thought someone was going to add and change begins with me. Never mind. Barakadi Salah.